target on the frickin' field. Some of his zealots trying to come in close, trying to force the Dragoons to attempt to micro, but not really doing that very well. Going to be force them off the bridges. Pusan's High Templars morphing into Archons on the field. But JangBi, beautiful counter there, beautifully holding back, just sacrificing a bunch of Zealots, but still in a pretty good position. More Zealots coming in to support now for Pusan. Needs some shields for his ground forces. Meanwhile, JangBi is going to put down the position, the upper left-hand position. Never mind, Pusan is going to send all of his Zealot forces right at the upper left-hand position. There are going to be cannons morphing in right at this moment. We can see that actually those Zealots might actually catch those cannons right off guard just before the force in action. Never mind, they're going to start attacking the Nexus. Going to completely and absolutely ignore the cannons. At least one Zealot is going to attack him. And more Zealots coming in now. And he's just going to focus on this Nexus. Nexus heavily damaged. And some of the Zealots actually sticking on the bridge just to force forces back as they mill in to try to defend this. Is going to be able to take this Nexus down. Nice play there from Pusan, forcing JangBi to lose a Nexus. And we're going to see whether he actually decides to take a base of his own at this point or just stick to his 4, knowing that it did enough damage, forcing JangBi to put down a new Nexus here. Forcing him to completely rebuild his base. He's going to lose, unfortunately, every single one of those Zealots. And that's, honestly, you got to think there whether that sacrifice was worth it. It did take some forces out as they were attacking them, but really just taking out an X and sacrificing so many troops of his own. That was at least a grand worth of Zealots taking down a base that hadn't even started mining for JangBi. So honestly, got to think about it. Pusan apparently, yeah, thinking of taking the 3 o'clock positioning. 9 o'clock positioning, take his own base. A little bit forcing himself, although I think he also has a Nexus coming down at his 4 o'clock. And meanwhile has another shuttle moving on the field. Gonna get completely spotted by JangBi there. Gonna attempt to do something. Storms catching some probes off the guard. Gonna be forced to flee. Leave actually one Templar behind to die because he doesn't mind sacrificing a Templar as much as he minds sacrificing a shuttle. So doing a little bit of economic damage there, knowing that what he needs to do. He did take down that one single Nexus, while JangBi gonna meanwhile spot his new base. Spot that new base that Pusan has put up. Pusan going to move his forces towards that location to defend it pretty heavily, though. And still, just a lot of troop positioning, huge armies on the field. JangBi now establishing his 5th. His main not mining, natural expansion mining maybe a little bit, not much though. Definitely going to be a little bit light on mining at this point. A lot of Archons for him on the field, so they're going to be able to tank pretty heavily. Pusan, not as much heavy on those. He does have a lot of High Templar though. He's getting a lot of High Templar up. Just going to get his new base up. Going to transfer probes to there right now. Just the Nexus is morphing in, and both players are going to be on 5 bases at this point. And I think actually either player is a little bit afraid of doing a possible tech up. You know, possibly getting some arbiters on the field. Shuttle going to load up yet another High Templar. Take something out. One single probe, they're thinking of putting down a Nexus. Shuttle gonna wait and see what happens. And Pusan yet again gonna mill several of his Zealots right at the upper left-hand position. I think this is actually a partial distractionary tactic, just to allow some shuttle time to do around, just allows him some troop maneuvering, and just at least distract JangBi, force him to move his entire army towards that position. He's actually gonna storm this new location again. Probes being moved off the line. There are gonna be some storms that catch several of the probes. Actually gonna lose one High Templar. Gonna get another storm off, killing more probes. We're gonna lose that High Templar, but sacrificing it for the greater good, just to take down some mining, forcing JangBi to add in even another cannon that's actually gonna be in range of that lower, just below that ramp. Very Archon heavy army, and I need a sip of water, man. This is a very long PvP. Usually don't see them, and actually upgrades already, you know, really coming into play. 2-1 upgrades on one side, and actually Pusan gonna move in. Several heavy, actually gonna be forced into a bridge just as he's attempting to move towards that 2 o'clock positioning. Meanwhile, has some Zealots moving in towards the upper left hand. Gonna get cleaned up. Yet another High Templar gonna come in, not I think catching anything this time. Attack gonna come in from JangBi, forcing some of his forces right into Storm, storming. Oh man, getting all of his Dragoons storm on top of Storm. Some of his Archons also getting stormed, but I think, oh man, JangBi still just far too many forces. Pusan's reinforcements not coming in fast enough, gonna get storms as they do. So more High Templars on the field, gonna storm all over the place, but we're gonna see JangBi with his own storms in retaliation. I think he has too much army on the field. Pusan's gonna be in a lot of danger at this point. He does not have any reinforcements coming in. These Dragoons gonna be forced to move right towards the natural expansion. got his army a little bit out of position. Now he's going to be pretty bad position. Going to try to defend this position. Nothing but Dragoons and one single high temple. This is going to be pretty bad for him. JangBi, I think, is going to take this game right here. Going to get his mining stormed as well. And I think JangBi just right now has won this. Lost his shuttle there as well. Has lost the Dragoons. Even DT's moving down at this point. No detection except the one cannon, which is now dead. And Pusan going to have some more Dragoons running down and Zealots alongside running down that base. So he's going to try to stay alive. He didn't, for very least, he did not have a lot of mining going in that natural expansion. Or at least he's going to attempt to hold it steady and to defend, getting his Dragoons stormed though. And I honestly don't think there's much chance for him to get back into this. That damage at the upper left-hand position, not good enough. He sacrificed way too many Dragoons to try to do some light damage, to try to do some distractionary tactics that really didn't come in handy. Losing his tech, losing his Temple Archives, that's definite damage there. No more High Templar to come in to help him. And despite his millions of storms just not helping him to take this out, far too many Archons on the field. Gateway alongside all of those cannons to block at that 4 o'clock position, but Zealots and Archons are going to move in and going to just clean that up. These probes are dead meat, and Pusan really looking worried. Knows he's going to lose this here. Just pulling his probes off the line. Well, never mind. Pulling his probes off the line just to run for their lives. Does have more High Templar on the field alongside Dragoons and Zealots. Going to try to hold this army of JangBi's back, but JangBi has some more reinforcement coming in, getting his own storms off, and really that large Archon number really holding Pusan back. 4 Archons on the field doing so much damage to everything. All those Zealots running in real close to those Dragoons, and GG coming in from Pusan as JangBi qualifies for yet another MSL. Pusan, despite beautiful performance up until this stage, really crushing preliminaries, getting himself into the OSL past 2 very tough opponents, gets unfortunately stomped on here, does not manage to get past the brick wall. That is JangBi. We're going to see whether this helps JangBi revitalize himself a little bit, honestly. He got, well, crushed pretty badly by Hiva. I've got to say that. Got to get that right out of there. But he still might have a chance to get himself sort of into the thick of things, get himself back into the game, and attempt to play at the level that he knows he's capable of. We know he's capable of. So I look forward to seeing him in the round of 32 of the MSL. I think this is going to be the only group I'm going to commentate in the MST. Very unlikely that I'm going to comment anything else. But once the, I think actually the group drawing is going to be fairly soon. So as soon as that's done, as soon as the round of 32 of the MSL starts, trust me guys that I'm going to be posting a lot more StarCraft commentaries. Trust me there. But right now, I am freaking tired. It is almost 1 a.m. and I've been studying almost all day. So, yeah. Pardon me if I sound a little bit tired doing this commentary, but you know, sometimes you gotta get past that to bring you guys what you want. It's all about what you want. So, that's all I really got to say there. Great games, great group overall. Some not really disappointing to me, despite those 2 very funky, weird games to start off. But looking forward to this MSL, whatever it's gonna be called. GG guys, wrenching out. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed. So Hiva and JangBi move on to the round of 32. Later, guys.